There is a side
This is a real thing.
This is a real thing. Don't run out to Hallmark. You can't buy a card for it. But
Right.
this is a real thing. And as you said, Mistress Day is the day that individuals who are cheating on their spouses carve out time to spend with that person because, of course, Valentine's Day is the day they should be spending with, guess who? Their actual spouse.
When you're dealing with really personal issues such as divorce, even celebrities like Kim and Kanye need to stay off of social media or really limit social media and stop airing their dirty laundry in public, even if it's gushy. Because at the end of the day, particularly where children are concerned, what a judge is really going to be looking at is if you as a parent are acting in your child's best interest all of the time.
You've got to have clear boundaries, right? You've got to both know what to expect and what the obligations are for one another, particularly if you're moving into another room in the house and that door is closed. You can't now just freely walk in or, to interrupt that.
Right. Can you sleep in the same bed?
I would highly suggest the answer is no. You could, but in some jurisdictions, having sexual relations is a bar to getting a divorce. The time clock starts all over again.
Wait, say that again. So if you have sex while you're in the process, what happened?
The time clock starts over again for some jurisdictions. Absolutely.
What I share oftentimes with my divorcing clients is that custody disputes are often the most difficult, they're the most expensive, and they're the most emotional. Because unlike a division of assets, which actually is at play here as well, as you know, they are going back and forth over a multi-million-dollar winery that they once both owned together. At the end of the day, the division of assets is more like a business decision. It's about crunching the numbers to see what makes the most sense, unlike in terms of a custody division. And so a lot of times custody issues during a divorce are sort of like a grenade and a pin in a grenade. And when you pull it out, it can be explosive.
My son's going into the 4th grade, and just the other day he's like, Mommy, I'm so excited school starts. And as a parent, I'm sure many can relate to, I'm maybe more excited than you are to go back to school.
Because to me, it feels that a lot of people go into divorce with the goal, I have to win. Winning is the ultimate goal, like the couple in the film. So how do you do that? And especially if children are involved.
It's hard because there really is no winner. I mean, one of the things that I always tell my clients, the best agreements are those when somebody had to give something and they get something in return. So there's never a true scenario. And as you just said, particularly when you have children, your focus and your first thought should always be about your children, and making sure a win would be making sure that they were happy and their needs were taken care of. I think people forget or they don't understand that filing for divorce is really a lawsuit. You are suing your spouse to dissolve your marriage. And with that comes a whole host of different deadlines and hearings and court appearances that really do need to be taken into account in order for the divorce process to move. Because once a divorce is filed, it's very hard for the train to come back to the station. That is the only thing a court knows to do, is to set it for litigation and to set it for trial.
But specifically, the quarantine has really made a lot of things worse for a lot of couples. And in a lot of ways, it's almost like throwing a match on their relationship. And some are continuing to add fuel to the fire and sort of watch it come burning down and ultimately deciding to get a divorce. And others are really taking the time to figure out to salvage their relationship and figure out what's going to work for their family.